Hi everybody, it's Diana. I wanted to do a quick video today showing you a cute card using the stamp set Festive Phrases, and this is in the holiday catalog, and I love it because it's good for so many different holidays. You've got this one that's for Valentine's Day, Halloween, or this one could be really anything. If you're having a dinner party or something like that, it would work for that. And of course you have Christmas ones. So I'm going to be using that one. And I also am going to be using the really cute DSP, and it's Christmas Around the World, and that is in the holiday catalog too. And that's where I've got my designer series papers that I'm using for the card. Here's the finished card, and then we'll start coloring it. So hang on a second. Alright, I forgot one thing. Okay, so now I got it. So what I've used is the DSP, and when I get to coloring, pay special attention to here when I start to do the Happy Holidays sign. So I'm going to be using the new Stampin' blends today, and I am so excited that we have alcohol markers back. And I know I've done videos in the past, but I want to touch base with some of the tips that I use, little tricks when I use for coloring with them. Now I have a whole, I don't have them all on my table, but these are a bunch that I'm going to be using today. And I'm also going to be using the color lifter, and I have two color lifters. Starting November 1st, you'll be able to order these Stampin' blends as well. And what I did was I have the two. So I have this one here, and I have markered it shadow on the lid, so that I know that this is my shadow one, and I'll show you what I mean by that. And then this one, I didn't write anything on the lid because then I know this is my color lifter. So if you make any boo-boos or you want to make anything lighter, that's what you'll use this for. So let me do the shadow first. If you watched any of my coloring videos, you know I always like to shadow before I color. And using the Stampin' blends is no different. So what I've done is, this is just one of our clear blocks, and I've had this forever. I made this originally, I think, back when we had the watercolor crayons. Now, how long ago was that? That's been several years. So, and I've used this block ever since. So it's just one of our clear blocks that you put your stamp on. And what I do is I just put a piece of paper and I wrote shadow block on it so that I know what it is. Plus that white piece of paper behind lets me see the color that I'm putting on the clear block. If it was clear, it would be a little harder to see. So what I'm doing is, I took the, and you'll see I have several colors on here because I've used it for other purposes. But what I did was I scribbled the dark smoky slate on there. And what it is, it will dry, so it's no big deal. But what happens is when you use the color lifter, it reactivates it. And it's going to allow me to put a shadow line around that is not so dark. If I were to put it on with even the light smoky slate, it would be too dark. And I don't want my shadow line to be that dark. So what I'm done is I'm going to take my color lifter that's marked shadow. I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to pick up some of that gray onto my color lifter, and then I'm just going to bring it over, and I'm lightly putting a shadow around my image. So it allows it to be a little lighter, and I'm able to have a little bit more control on how dark it's going to be. And I want to put the little elf, he's standing on the floor, so I'm going to put a little bit of gray underneath his feet for a shadow. Alright, and I could do more, but I'm just going to go quick for the video. So that's the first step. So you want to put a little shadow line. You can do any color you want. I just picked the smoky slate, but you can really choose to pick any color you want. I also want to tell you that you do not have to just use the colors that come together. Now obviously we have a light and a dark. So here's the pink pirouette. We have a light and a dark. So these are to be used together. But I use other colors with them. So, for instance, when I'm doing the little elf's ears, I'm also going to add let me make sure I get the right one, the light Calypso Coral with it as well. So what I've done is I'm going to take my Calypso Coral first, because it'll be the darkest, and I'm going to put a little bit right here on his ears at the base. And I'm using the bullet end just because this is a small area that I'm coloring, so I have a little bit more control. Then I'm using the dark, and I'm actually touching over top of the coral, so it blends those two colors together. And then I'll finish it off with the light. And what this does is it gives the little ears a little more definition in the inside, I guess you would call it. So don't think you have to just stick with the colors that are together. And what I usually do is I have a piece of Whisper White here, and I usually practice. I'll put some colors together because I think they'll go together, and then when you do, they really don't. So just have a piece of paper off to the side, and you can scribble and see if you like the colors after all. All right, so let's continue on. So I'm going to do the leaf now. And then I just do a little bit, I go a little faster. So I'm going to have the little leaves with the dark Old Olive. This one's pretty simple. I'm just using the two greens and then a little of the lighter on the ends. This is such a fun little guided color, I'll tell you that. What I did forget was his fingers. So I'm going to do the same thing. Now his fingers aren't super big, so I'm just going to use the two pinks. So I'm just going to touch the one side. And then with the lighter to finish him. So he's super sweet. All right, so now his little fingers are done. All right, let's continue on. So then I want to also put green on the ball. So I'm going to put some dark on the side. And then do the light, and I love how you can hear the lids go click, click, and you know they're closed. Just make sure, like if you're done, when you're all done coloring, I just make sure they're all snapped on. All right, so then I'm going to do his hair. Again, the colors that I'm going to use aren't necessarily to be made together, but I'm putting them together. So this one is, these are like the skin color ones. So we have a bronze and we have an ivory. And I must tell you, this bronze is like one of my favorite for using it. And it's, to me, it kind of reminds me of the soft suede. So I'm putting a little bit of the dark color in his roots. My roots would be gray, but I do have my hair appointment before on stage, so I will take care of that. And then I'm taking the ivory, and then I'm just going to mix those. So see how it softened that line when you just rub over it just a little bit. So it's super, super easy. Okay, then we have his little shoes. Again, I'm using colors that don't necessarily go together. So this is the light Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to use the dark Pool Party. So I'm using these two together. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put the dark Bermuda Bay in the top and a little bit on the bottom. And see how I'm going, like, I'm not really coloring, I'm just kind of tapping it on there. And I find that I have a little more control, especially when you go around the areas with the ink. You don't want to rub a lot because alcohol, if you rub too much, sometimes it will go out. I've had pretty good luck, but I don't like to totally saturate the paper. I mean, you can saturate it too much, in my opinion. It will bleed through a little bit, which is totally fine. So I just have a piece of Whisper White underneath just to catch any of the extra ink, if that happens. So, and then I'm going to go back with my dark Pool Party, and I'm going to blend these two together. So his little shoes are going to be so cute. So I'm going to go like this. So I colored it all in. And now where those two meet, because you can obviously see that there's two different colors. Let me hold it up. Hopefully you can see that. So what I'll do is I'll just concentrate on where they meet. And I'll just wiggle that color around. And then those colors will blend together. Hence the name Stampin' Blends. And you'll have like a beautiful little design. And as it dries, it blends, it soaks in even better. Okay, so then I want to do, so this is what I wanted to show you with the Happy Holidays. So when I did the card, you'll see I have the DSP in the background, and it's that pretty pool party with the little fleck, so it looks like snow. Well, I kind of wanted to imitate that. So I thought, well, I didn't want to stamp something else on the DSP and cut it out because I wanted to use the Happy Holidays. So what I'm doing is I'm taking, this is the light pool party, and you could use the dark one too, but I just chose to use the light one. And all I'm doing is I'm coloring in this little box. So the little box that he's holding that has the Happy Holidays. And just so you know, I didn't say at the beginning, and I should have, because I already had these stamped and punched out to speed it up. I did use the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So that's what you definitely want to use when you stamp your images. So you don't want to use the archival basic black ink, because that's water-based. So you want to use the Memento, because it's made to use with the alcohol markers. So, and then I still have a wad of things I have stamped to color, and I've just been having so much fun every day just sitting there and coloring. I feel like a kid. And then I turn them into cards. All right. Let's see. I'm also going to be doing a Stampin' Blends Club. If you are interested, let me know. And this will get you the markers, the blends, kind of at a budget. You can get so many each month and get hostess benefits as well. So if you are interested in that, totally send me a note. All right. So now it is the Happy Holidays. So it's all, now you could totally leave it as it is. But like I said, I wanted it to mock the DSP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my color lifter. Now this is the one that's a color lifter, not the shadow one, because it doesn't have the markers. And I'm going to use the bullet end. And all I'm doing is I'm taking it and I am putting little dots. So I'm just going to go dot, 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 dot. And what this is going to do is it is going to lighten up and remove some of the Stampin' Blend ink wherever the little color lifter goes. And then as it dries, you'll see it more. But what this is doing is it gives it that same little look, and you'll be able to see this one better because it's the dry one. I hope you can. So you'll be able to see that it looks like the same as the designer series paper. So I thought that was pretty cool. And you can do it many places. Alright, you'll notice I still have a few things to color. And it's red. Even with the Stampin' Blends, I still use red last. Red is so overpowering, and if you're going to make a boo-boo, it's going to be the red. So I always just do the red last. I am also putting these three colors together. So this is the dark Calypso and the two cherry cobblers. So I have the light and the dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dark cherry cobbler first, and I'm just going to add a little bit around the hairline and the base of the cap, and also underneath the sign where the pants are. Okay. Then I'm going to go with the light cherry cobbler, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm overlapping it just a little bit to soften that dark edge. And you'll see I'm tapping, not necessarily rubbing. All right. And I also want to do is little balls on his shoes. All right. I better make sure I say what I'm talking about. Okay, so there is that. Now I'm taking the dark Calypso, and I'm going to finish off the hat. And what this does, it almost makes it look like a shiny top, but those colors look so cool. It looks almost rainbowish, but so I'm going to put that there together. Go as close as you can to the green. So cute, little leggings. All right, so there he is, adorable. And so now what I want to do is on the DSP, I also had these lines here. So what I've done, I just have a gel pen, and I'm going to take my little gel pen, and I'm just going to make a couple little white lines in his leggings. And what that does is it kind of emphasizes, or it does the same thing as this. So that's kind of what I was going for. And then basically I'm just going to assemble the card, and the card would be done like that. So isn't that cute? I just can imagine if it's a little boy elf or a little girl elf. You can't see the face, so you can just pretend, but you can have it be whatever kind of elf you want. So that is a cute, cute card. Hopefully I taught you a couple things that maybe you didn't know. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Check out my blog and say hi. So I will say see you later, and have a good day. Bye.